you want to do that.
Andre, are you recording? Yeah, yeah. If you could share it to me after the class because I have to leave soon. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, please give me 1 second. I need to open some link.
What program you using for recording? Mac for the okay, yeah, that's interesting.
All right, so I'll show you my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, good. So if you look at this website, it is called PythonAnyWhere.com. And for example, on this website, you can always deploy your Python Django application once you're ready to go to production. So I mean, once you're ready to go to live. And yeah, so this morning we can try that. But recently, for someone to be able to actually use the website, I think before I say that, let's try to sign up. And then we can see that from there. So
Can
here
you
we go.
share the link also?
Yeah, sure. So let's copy that.
Please.
Yeah, so here we can see it says that you can create a beginner free, so which is a limited account with one web app and so on and so forth. So basically it has restriction and low CPU, no IPython, Jupyter Notebook support. It works and is a great way to get started. So basically we can start with this, and they also have an option for the payment part. So all of our paid plans come with no payable 30-day money back guarantee, so on and so forth. So basically here we can see the cheapest one is what they refer to as ACA, and that is $5 per month. And the web dev and so on and so forth, we can see them here. And we can see the things that each of these guys offer. So, but yeah, for a start, always would be nice to use the create a hacker account if you still want to deploy your application and see how it is going to scale and so on and so forth. So let's start with this. Create a beginner account. And I'm just going to maybe use something random. But the question now is, the total needs an email for us to be able to deploy something. So maybe one of you can give us an account to log in with. So username, email, password again. So if you can register that, then you can give us an access, and then we can use it to make a deployment for your project. And you can close it anytime you want. And you can also do the deployment, because by the time we will finish it now, you will learn and you will understand how to do it. What do you think? Should we let you create the account, or should I create the account from my side? If I create the account from my side, one thing is, when I get to a point to deploy, because now PythonAnyWhere doesn't want people to just come to their website and use it freely anymore. They kind of said that it is free, but during the time of deployment, they still want you to pay something. So which means that we still have to pay $5. So the question will be, who will be willing to afford that $5 to pay it for us to use it? So if we are ready for that, then we can try it out. Then the account will belong to that person that paid the $5. And basically it's a learning process, yeah. So the account is still yours. What do you suggest? Okay, thank you. So yeah, so please do the registration. Just create a beginner account.
I send it in Slack, password and login.
Okay, thank you. So let me check. Slack. All right. Okay. Okay, so dashboard. All right, here we go. Thank you for the registration. So here we can see we have the dashboard that belongs to Andre. So if you do your registration, then you also have your dashboard. And right here we have the console. So this console is something that's very, very useful. We are going to also use it this morning to deploy our application. And from the other side, we can also see the one sec. We can also see the files. And this file is where you will actually see your project. So for now, your project is not here, but we can see some of the existing files that PythonAnyWhere is already giving you. And these files are there to make your project work. And since you have not actually uploaded anything, so you have 0% full. And if you remember, I mentioned that they said that this is free, but look at what they are giving you. 60 kilobyte of your 1 gigabyte quota. And by the time you upload your projects already, you might not be able to do much anymore. So until you pay something. So that is how they make sure that you at least give them something by the time you are using this website. So we might get to that point and you will see what I mean. And here we can see the web. So on the web, this is where you will see the link that goes to your website. So by the time you are done with the configuration and everything, so you can click on that link and then you will see your website being served up in the public internet. So if you click on the link, then it will open up. And here we have what we call task. So these are just to do some additional scheduling tasks. So which of course we are not going to talk about in this course. But if you want to know more about scheduling a task, you can read on your website. And this is the database connection. So if you use an external database, you can also connect it to your projects on the PythonAnyWhere website. All right. So now let's start by going to our repository. So our repository, I believe that is in GitHub. So let's look for that. GitHub. Probably car project, and we have these branches. Yeah, so this is the one that we were working on, and we need to take the one which is on the develop, because that is where we have all the latest changes, right? So if we go to the develop, and in the main branch we do not have all the latest changes, so I believe you know that already. So in the main branch we still have things that are behind. And how do you check that? So you can check that from the branches. So here you can see in the main branch we have 2 weeks ago. Also here we have 2 weeks ago actually. So it seems that we make some changes in the main branch 2 weeks ago. Let's check it. What was that? Django. And in the develop, what is there? In the develop we have, so here you can see we have a different name on that particular car hub. So here it was Django at least. So that is enough for you to see that even for 2 weeks ago we made changes on both sides, but they are not having the latest, right? So here it's saying changeon.html. Here it is saying March develop into future, as you can see. So, and since we are working on the develop branch, so develop branch is the one that has the latest. And another way we can confirm that if our main branch is taking the latest or not is to try and create a PR against the main branch, and then you will see whether it is having the latest or not. But now that's not what we want to do this morning. So what we want to do now is to just take what we have in the develop branch and try to deploy it into the production. So I will just download this zip file, so which covers the develop branch. So let's download that. Download. So the download is coming up somewhere here. So by the time we're done, we can expand it. It's download in progress. So here we can open that. It's still in progress, probably. Let me open my downloads here. So here we go. So here we can see we have the car project, and that is coming from the develop. So that is why you see this develop being attached to it. So at least you are very sure that, okay, that is where you took that from. And now, what we can do, so let's go back and make sure that we open it. So what we can do is to open that and see, do we have everything that we need? Seems so. You can see the car hub and all the other apps that we have been dealing with. So right here, you can see all of them. Then, what I will do now is I will take this one. So, for example, if you extract it, right? So if you extract that, I could have copied that also from when I open it, but just let us extract it, follow the normal process. As a matter of fact, we do not need to extract it before we load it to the PythonAnyWhere. So I think I'll just cancel this. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do any instruction. So we need this zip file actually. Okay. So now what I will do is I'll go to my PythonAnyWhere. So let's go back to the dashboard. And again, in the dashboard, I mentioned you just see some stuffs. so we don't need that at the moment. We need a file, right? Because this is where we can upload our project. So now I'll just click on the upload a file since we need a zip file. So let's upload our file, this one. And I also think it's better to yeah, so let's upload it like this, the way it is. So it is called carhub project develop.zip, as you can see here. So now with this that we have here, we need to be able to let me double check the file also. I think we have two layers of that, so I would like to have just one layer. So what do I mean by that? So here we have 1, 2 before we get into the project. So it's better to, so here also you can see that car project develop before you get in here. So just to make things easy by the time we are doing this extraction, so I'll take this one off. So let's delete that. And let's just rename it. I'll just rename that. I'll bring it. So first, I'll copy this one, so which is located inside the zip file, since I just need the the second layer of the car project. And after that, I want to get to the project itself. So let's just copy this one. So I'll say copy, and I'll put it somewhere. Let's put it on the desktop maybe. So on the desktop, I will just say put it somewhere. Let's paste it somewhere here. Maybe. So let's paste it somewhere here. Paste it on the desktop.
Other services where we can deploy our website, they will work the same way, or it's some differences with deploying.
You mean the process, yeah?
Yeah, process wise.
Every website, every cloud environment has their own processes. So they might not work the same way, but there will be some sort of similarities. But I think what is important is for you to at least understand one step, maybe from one site, and the rest probably will be a learning part. So when you get to another website, then we have to understand how you have to deploy to that website.
Because I once tried to develop cloud file and
Hmm.
so many things I could render, so I decided
Hmm.
to think about
Okay.
deploying.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so everybody has their own processes. Some website will make it even complicated, and some will make it very simple. So it all depends on their architecture and how they also understand the process. So if they really understand the process, they might make it simple. So at least it works out of the box for you by the time you are deploying. So I think Python Anywhere is one of the best cloud for deploying Python applications. And we can see by the time we go on. So yeah, what did I do? I just copy my project out from one layer. So now I can just go inside one and directly inside my project. So that's more better for me because when I download from GitHub, so that is giving me additional layers. So now what I will do is I will just zip this one. So let's zip this one. And one more thing is we can even change this name. So let's change it to something simple. So here we can see it seems to be too long. So I'll just rename it. It doesn't affect anything. So I'll just rename it. So let's call it something like car hub. Car hub. That is enough. Car hub. Okay, I think we have already one car hub inside. So I'm just going to make it car hub project. Car hub project. So that will be enough. And inside of it, we have the car hub. And now what I will do is I'll just zip this. So let's zip it. And zip means to compress to a zip file. I'll just compress it to a zip file. So here we go. So I have the car zip file. And that is the one that I want to upload to this place now. So I'll just click on that and I'll go to my desktop as where I pull it now. And I need it to be, need to look for that file. And the file is a car zip file, right? So we can search for that. Car project. Let's just bring in some sort of right here. We need a zip one, yeah. And do we actually put it here? I can see this one that is not zipped, but we need a zip one, which I think we also zip here. So let me just go back to my desktop and confirm. Car hub project. So let's, yeah, so I can find it on the desktop. So I'll go back there. Yeah, right here. So I'll just take that. And I'm trying to upload that now. And here we go. So I can see that here now. So which is carhubproject.zip, right? And immediately I can see we have 3% full and 29.7 MB of your 1.0 gigabyte quota has been used, as I can see. And now what we can do is we have an access to what we call the bash console here. So we need that bash console. Okay, so here we can see all the consoles. We go there also. So at the moment, we can click on this one, for example, which is the bash on the console, and that will generate, sorry, that will generate this environment for us from the PythonAnyWhere. And you can see that this belongs to Andre, and this is the numbers of the console that we're using right now. So which is an instance of the console that you have created. So now, the first thing we want to do is to unzip the file that we just downloaded into the PythonAnyWhere. So I'll use the unzip command, and I need to look for that file. And the name of the file is, I believe, is carhub. So I'll just type CA and I'll use tab to complete that. So which means that it's able to find that project from the files directories that we have. So now the only thing I want to do now is to just hit enter on the keyboard, right? So let's hit enter on the keyboard, and that will unzip the file, as you can see. So the file is going through the unzip process. Here we go. So we have everything being unzipped, and what I'll do is I'll go back to my PythonAnyWhere. So let's create a duplicate PythonAnyWhere. So which means that we can go back to the dashboard from here. So we still have our console open here because we still use that console. And by now we already have 8% full. We already have 80.2 and so on. So if I go back to the files, so from the file, I can see the zip file and I can see the unzipped project now here. So from the unzipped project, I can even click on them and I'll be able to see everything that we have done. And here we go. Sorry. Here we go. So we can see all the things that we've done in class. We have the accounts, the carhub, and so on and so forth, right? So which is basically our expectation, I would say. So which is our expectation. And now, also we can see the requirement TST file. So all these things, we can click on them from the cloud environment, and we can even see what we have done. So this PythonAnyWhere is a very good environment whereby you can even edit your Python code and you can still run them directly live without using the Python IDE, which is the PyCharm. So you can also make changes here directly. So this is what I mean. But it's always good to make sure that whatever the changes that you are making is also in your repo, right? Because of tomorrow. So that is why sometimes, even if you made a change here directly, you also want to quickly adjust that in your local environment so that you can push it into your repo for tomorrow's sake, right? If what I'm saying does not make sense, I'll come back to that point. But yeah, so now let's go back to here. So here we can see the requirement TST file, which we will need. And if I go back a little bit, so here we can see all the things that we have. And if we open any of the template file, for example, we can see all of them here. So here we can see all the files also. So a very good environment where you can even make changes, even in your CSS file, in your HTML file, and it will be rendered from here immediately. Okay, now that we can see all these things, so seeing them here does not make them already available on the website. We still need to do some configuration in order to make sure that we can have or people can have an access to these sites publicly. So now we need to go back to the console. We need to go back to the console. So what I'll do, I'll clear the console. So I have a new start. So I just wrote clear, and that clears the console for me. If you remember, in our project, for us to be able to do anything, we need to have a virtual environment. We did that in the PyCharm, if you remember. So let's open the PyCharm up. That's the first thing, right? So you cannot do anything with Python. You don't want to do anything with Python without the virtual environment, because the virtual environment will isolate all the libraries, all the the modules coming from the requirements TST file, and that will be isolated in the environment where you are working regarding this project, right? Because you might have more than one project. You might have this project and another project and another project that you are working on, and all of them might have different requirements, right? So you want to make sure that this requirement is not conflicting with the other projects. So that's one of the reasons for the virtual environment. So that is why we always created this environment. So all these things now will be using the Python, which is coming from here. So we'll be using this python.esc, which is coming from this environment. So the same thing we want to do. So the same process that we follow here is what you have to also follow in this environment for your projects to be able to run. So now we need to create our environment as we did it here. And how did we create our environment? So in our project, if you remember, in our project we use let me remember, we use okay, so actually that's not the same thing we are going to use anyway. So we need to use the one which is belonging to the PythonAnyWhere, and that will be what we refer to as MK. So that is make virtual environment. So that's the one we need. So make virtual environment. So we need the one which is the make virtual environment. And let me just confirm something. 1 sec. I think, yeah, that should be the correct one. I might also maybe, yeah, I'm just looking at the documentation now. So yeah, here we go. So I think the one we need, of course, is is this one, make virtual environment. So we need that, and then we can go down and down and down. So let's move on with the make virtual environment. I will also send a link to this documentation, so at least you also have it. So 1 sec. So that's the link to their documentation also. So 1 sec. Yeah, so we need that. So I think we have to, so let's try to hit enter on the keyboard. But I think before we hit enter on the keyboard, we need to make sure that we also specify the Python version that we are using, actually. And also, if you remember, so we have the version of Python, I think Andre will remember that. So when we had issue with the version of Python for us to be able to install these requirements. So the version of Python that we'll use, let's use Python 3.10, for example. And with that, we should be able to have all these requirements installed. And I have a question. So what version of Python do you have on your system at the moment for this project?
I have the latest because
Mhm.
sure what is correct.
Okay. Okay, we can always check it. I think I would like to check that with you guys before we continue. So the way you can check that is this. So just go to the terminal and type Python bash, right? Python bash. But you need to make sure that you are inside your virtual environment. So you need to activate that. So if you type Python version, so again, this will not give me the result because I'm not inside my virtual environment. So I need to activate this one. And here I can already see that this is using Python 3.11. But just for confirmation's sake, please try and let's know the version of Python that you're using at the moment. As far as I remember, I think you're all using Python 11 for this project. So with that, Python 11 or Python 10 should be fine for this project. So let's go Python. There is a reason for you to select the correct Python version. If I also open another tab, I'll show you the reason for that. Let's go to here. Let's duplicate this one. And account, I believe, from there. So in the account, if we can see that here, in Python ID in your browser with unlimited Python. Okay, so I think I can't find out now, but yeah, so if you go down, if you go beyond, maybe let's go to here, or the dashboard. Yeah, so here we can see. So add new Python 3.10. At least this is the latest that the PythonAnyWhere has at the moment. So Python 3.10. And with this Python 3.10, we should be able to do everything that we want to do. So let's use that. So now what I will do is I'll go back to here and I will say Python. So right here, and again, what I'm doing is in the documentation. So there's no hidden agenda here. So this is what I need, but I would like to type it. So Python user and so on and so forth. So let's do that.
Do it have to be changed in? Do we have to change the environment first in our console to check if it works with this environment? Because at the moment in the file there is included in our project is different model written on requirements file.
Requirements CSV file, right?
Okay. Yeah, there is different model of the environment.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean different model of the environment?
Ah, no. Okay. Python open. Okay, that's not.
Yeah, so I think everything is fine. We only have all these requirements that we need to install. But for us to be able to install these requirements, we need a Python version. So you can, this requirement will be Python version 3.0, Python version
Can it be
3.10.
in conflict on the case if it we trying to work out in our
Exactly.
environment?
Yes, it
And
can. It
there
can
is the older model.
yes, it can lead to conflict if the Python version is already older than the latest requirement that you are installing. But with the one that we are choosing, Python 3.10, 3.11, 3.12, let's say Python 3.10 and 3.11, we still satisfy our requirements without any issue.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just a
Yeah.
question.
So now, right here, we need to have, according to what it is written, and we go to the bin, then we go to Python, okay, Python. Then we need 3.10, so which is Python 3.10. And now here is where you want to create your environment. So I'll call it env, just like we did previously, right? So in our project, we call it env. So that's my environment. So the way we created the environment in here is different a little bit from how we do it here. So this is the way they want you to create it here. So this name can be anything that you prefer, right? So this one on their website, so they call it my site virtual environment. But for me, I call it env. So I'm kind of used to that, just environment in short form. And that is also the same thing we did previously, right? So env. Okay. So now, with that in mind, we need to hit enter on the keyboard. If everything is fine, then the environment will be created. So let's do that. So I just hit enter on the keyboard and waiting a little bit and see what happened. So here we go. So created virtual environment, see Python 3.10 and so on and so forth. So here we can see that the environment has been created. And we have now located inside the environment. And the environment has been activated for us immediately, right? So here we can see that, env. Okay, great. So now that we have our environment created, what else do we need to do? So we can also see that here. I already know some of this process myself, but I just want us to follow the documentation. And here we can see we have this pip install Django, right? Again, pip install Django was needed in our project because we need a web application. Yeah, we need a web application. So that's why we installed Django. Django is a web framework in Python. So without that Django, we will not get the web framework that we need in order to create our web application. So Python is a language, but Django is a framework that will make us to be able to use that Python language to create a web app. So which means that we need Django. And look at the statement here. Or if you have a requirement TST file, right? And we have a requirement TST file. So instead of installing Django separately, since we already have a requirement TST file that Andre pointed out to previously, we will just need to use that requirement TST file to install everything that we have in the requirement TST file. And what are the things we have in the requirement TST file? These are the things here. And that also includes Django that we need, right? So it's not only Django that we need. So here they just use Django as an example because that's the first thing that they believe you need when you're working with Python project, right? Python web framework. So now the only thing we have to do now is to just do this one, right? So we know how to do this already. We also did it locally. Pip install -r requirement tst file. so that we install all our requirement basically for us. So let's install the requirement. So I'll just paste that here. I copied that from the documentation and I pasted that here. So now what I will do is I will hit enter, right? So do you think this will work like this? So let's try. Good. So it will not work. And the reason is because you are not located inside the requirement TST file. You are not located where that requirement TST file is located, right? And we talked about that many times. So how do we get there? So let's cd to our car hub, right? So the car hub project. And if you do not remember where your requirement TST file is, you can go back to the files, right? So this is the files here. And here I have my files here. And here is my requirement TST file. So which means it is located inside the car hub project, car hub, then we have the requirement TST file. Again, let's check it just to confirm. So I'm inside the car hub project. I need to go to the car hub before I can see the requirement TST file. So this is my path, right? And that is where you need to be in here. So I need to cd now to car hub. So now I'm in the right path where I can find this requirement TST file. So now I can copy this guy, or I can even use the up and down arrow key on my keyboard. So bringing back the previous command that I've used. And here we can see pip install -r requirements.txt file. So we need to install that requirement TST file. My fear now is we continue to install this, we will run out of quota and we will have a limitation because we are already, for example, 13% full, and we is already using this, and we only have 1 gigabyte quota. So if we really want to enjoy what we are doing, we might need to pay for us to be able to have enough room to do this. But we can try it out and then we can see whether it's worth paying or not, the $5. So I will hit enter. I'm not advocating for this site, I'm just using it for training, so we can make decision on whether we want to pay or not. So now here we can see the requirement TST file is downloading into our projects environment. So if we are lucky and we do not run out of quota, because I think the reason it wasn't like that before, but I think the reason why they do it that way now is to limit the number of free users that will be using their resources. So at least they want to be able to get something from those free users, even if it is $5. I think that's why they do it that way now. So at least not to continue running down their CPUs. So, but now we are still going, it's still working. So we know the requirement TST file is the way we also did that previously. So we just run that and that will continue downloading until we have everything installed. Everything is everything that we have here.
until it's completing, can you explain, there is the line that to build a wheel, what the wheel is doing?
Which one? Where did you say that?
Just fourth line from bottom. There is to build wheel. Now it's fifth.
Build wheel. Ah, okay.
WH. Yeah.
I saw. So basically,
I met before a wheel, but what the wheel is doing? What is the purpose of that?
Yeah. So basically, when we talked about build wheel, is kind of the setup tools, and it's referred to the wheel distribution of a package. It's basically for faster installation in Python projects. So that's what that is basically doing. For example, as we are developing a Django project, you want to be able to distribute it as a package, or you might need to build a wheel for easy installation. And this is useful when you want to package a Django app for use, for example, or you need to install a Django package, or you are deploying Django app with dependencies. So basically, this is kind of internal things that Django needs to do. Is a set of tools that will be installed, and you don't have to really do anything regarding that. So it's based on the dependencies that you're installing. So that's just a process. I'm not sure if you get my point.
Not much I understand, but it's needed to install the project.
Yeah, it's just basically useful for deploying Django apps in production environment. So that's basically what it's meant for. So
just to build the environment, not for use inside the code after that.
Yes, exactly. So you can see them. So
yes.
requirements build with.
I mean, many times it's been coming up the question. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have the feelings that this is being slowed down due to the limitation on the quota. It should have been faster than this. If I look at the quota now, so let's try to refresh it. So here we are already 35% full. And once it's 100% full, then we can't do anything until we pay. So that's the idea now. And we might not be able to finish our processes to go live before we get to 100%. So they kind of use that as a restriction on the numbers of spaces that you can use. And if you are still interested in continuing, then you need to give them some money. So yeah, but let's continue. So we have 34, 37 now, and we are still going. So, yeah, I think I noticed that Sandra just joined. So what we are doing now is we are trying to deploy application into the cloud using the PythonAnyWhere website. At the moment, we are installing the requirements into the environment. So that is what you see going on here. Um,
Нет, это нечестно, блядь. Я не такая честная. Выйти из туалета, а чё мне вообще не подумать, вообще не подумать, если честно. Ну, просто ты вышли из туалета в этот момент, поэтому я о Тоне не подумал совсем. Ну ладно. Хорошо. Да нет,
in a situation like this, you might just leave these things and go for a coffee, and maybe by the time you're back, everything is done. But yeah, let's keep an eye on it and see what is going on. And the good thing is, once you have this requirement installed once, you don't need to repeat it every time you are deploying. So the next deployment will be faster than the first time you are deploying, basically. Yeah, I'm afraid that this is not going to be full before we are done. Well, let's move on.
What is the final size of the project will be roughly? What do you think?
You mean from here?
Yeah.
Well, the size of the project itself is not the issue, because as you can see, we already have the project here. And at that time, we only have, I think, I remember, I'm not sure again, but the percentage was not up to this point. But the things that we are downloading, which is coming from the web, which is coming from the internet, so all these requirements, they are the one that is taking up space. And taking up space does not mean that it does
Yes,
not mean
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, our project is just 250 megabytes, maybe.
Yeah. So
While in our computer.
Yeah.
But all the environment and
Exactly.
requirements and
Yeah.
how much the final will be.
I can't be very sure of how much that will be, but I think what is happening is not even about how much they have. It's just that this website is calculating based on the time that you are spending on their website. I think that is how they increment this quota that they have here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the time that you are sitting down and you are running something on their website. So I think that is what they are using. It's not even the amount of what is coming in, actually.
Okay, busted.
Yeah. So it's the time that this thing is running. So the reason why they do that is because for free users, if you are running too much things, then maybe they kind of see that it's going to impact the users that, you know, that actually pay, right? So they need people to pay for what they are doing. So I think that is why they kind of have this limitation. Previously, it wasn't like that. Previously, you can sit down from morning till night and, you know, as a free user and do what you want to do. But, you know, business
Everything
strategies.
is business.
Yeah, exactly.
Money.
So business strategies is to make sure that, okay,
Yeah.
even a free user that is staying up to like some minutes or some hours should pay something.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the idea. I could have stopped that, but even if we stop it now, because as I can see, we are already hitting the 100%, and once we are 100%, then we might not be able to do much. So there will be, there's an option which I already mentioned. Where do we even have that in the accounts? So if you give them $5, then you have more space. So here we can see. So which is going to be more faster. So at the moment we are kind of being slowed down because we don't have good CPU seconds. And also here we can see we can do some other things. And we have more info here. So there's information regarding with this one now you can have 2 web apps hosted. And here you can see the CPU is more faster. Yeah, it's just a business idea. So we can't help it. And here it will be more faster than the free that we are using right now. So the free version is more slower. Yeah. What to do since we are not paying.
Andre is the rich guy. He can pay this $5, I think.
Yeah, if Andre is willing to.
Out of limit, we need more or what?
Yeah, we will be out of limits soon, as I can see. Here we can see we're already 91%. So it's for them. They said it is free, but it's just a way of like, okay, come in and try to do something. Then through the process, you will learn whether you want to pay or not. So that's the idea. And the only thing we can do now, if we have the full space, is to go with the $5, which is going to give us more space. This one, and that will be per month, right? So you can cancel it immediately after the course. Yeah. The highlighted color is gone. So they know what they are doing. So it's just a business strategy. Okay, good. So since we have
Thank you, Andre.
Thank you. Yeah. Since we have more space now, so let's keep going. Successfully install and we have a 1, 2, 5, 10. So I think we're almost done. I saw that this is the last one. Let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, I think we are done actually. So yeah, we can see successfully build Django and successfully install all these guys. So you can see. So all these have been successfully installed. So which means we are fine. Now what I can do is to bring up the documentation. Give me one sec. Take this one. So here we can see warning. Django may take a long time to install. PythonAnyWhere has a very fast internet. You see, we encountered that actually. At least we are done now. See, if you see an error saying this, we do not see that. Setting up your web app and WSGI file. So I also mentioned about this file where we are doing the deployments, not deployment, development. So this file is also important in the aspect of deployment, and we're going to use it. And here we can see at this point you need to be armed with 3 pieces of information: the path to your Django project top folder, the folder that contains the manage.py. So you all remember that we need that because with that we'll be able to run our project. The name of your project, that's the name of the folder that contains your settings.py, right? So we also know that. So the name of the project that contains the settings.py is something that we can find here. This one. So we also need that. So all this part we need to set them correctly. And the name of your virtual environment, e.g. my site virtual environment. But for us we call it env. So we have to remember that. And that is something that we can find, I think, at the top somewhere. But yeah, we know what we call it. And create a web app with manual config. So head over to the web tab and create a new web app choosing the manual config option and the right version of the Python, the same one you use to create your virtual environment. So that's what we have to do. So let's go to here. Let's go to the web. And we need to create a new web app right here. And this is talking about having your own domain. So the domain can be bought from, for example, GoDaddy. So I think for us, for now, we do not have any GoDaddy domain. So basically that will be the domain which is generated by this website. And that is something that we can see here. So, and here we can see, select a Python web framework or select manual configuration. If you want detailed control, Django manual configuration, which including the virtual environment. Then what other framework should we have here? Send us some feedback. Yeah, that's just the feedback things. Make sure you choose manual configuration, not the Django option. That is for new projects only. Enter your virtual name, and so on and so forth. So basically, let's go. So where do you want your web app to be? So we need it to be here, right? Because your home domain will be, again, the domain that you bought from GoDaddy or from wherever you want to buy the domain from. And at the end of the day, you need to set that up, which for now we might not be able to show you how to do that, but it's kind of straightforward if you want to switch to the domain that you bought from GoDaddy or from any other places. So let's move on and press next. So here we can see we have this information. So here we have manual configuration, and here we have Python 3. That's the Python version. If I go back, right? So if I go back again, so manual configuration, if you want detail control, so I would like detail control. So I'll take the manual configuration. And here you can see the list of version of Python is available in PythonAnyWhere. So, and the one that we have used is the latest one available in the PythonAnyWhere, and which is Python 3.10. So I'm going to take that. Manual configuration involves editing your own disk, right? So which of course we are going to do. Usually this imports a disk compatible application which you have stored as well. When you click next, you will create the file, including a simple hello world app, which you can use to get started, as well as some comments on how to use other frameworks. So other frameworks like Flask will also be added. We'll also be able to specify a virtual environment to use for your app. So we can see those information. And what is all it's talking about is just about this one. It's going to give us this WSG file, configuration file, and we'll see how to use that. So let's click next. And wait. Here we go. So this is our environment, and you can see your URL. So which is called andreyourname.pythonanywhere.com. So if I copy that name and I put it on the website on the browser, so I will want to see my page, but for now nothing will show up regarding your page. The only thing you got is an hello world, right, which is coming from the WSG file that has been created. And now what we can do is to go back to here. And going back to that place, we need to do some setup. So here we can see what your site is running. So code, basically that is running your site is what I mean here. So we need a source code, and we agree with me that the source code is coming from Proj. It's coming from here. Yeah. So the source code is coming from here, and which is coming from home. So I can see the part here, home, your name, and here, and the Kahal project, right, and the project itself. So this is the correct part where this is coming from. So I'm just going to copy that. So that's the source code for your project. As you can see here, everything involved in that project is what we can find here. So let's go back to the web. So I think it's good to have this tab. Let's use this one. So we still have this one open. I'll go here. And here is asking for enter the path to your web app source code, right? We can see an example given to us here. Working directory is from home. So which means that everything we want to do should come from home. And that is what we can find here. Home, Andre, Kahal project, Kahal. So I'll take that. And I'll come back to here and I'll paste that. If this part is not correct, then you will not have this green. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So if I make a mistake of the part and I try to enter that, it's going to show me that this directory does not exist, as you can see. But if everything is fine with the directory, Then if you do not get that error, then you are good to go. So here we can see it's able to locate that part because the part actually exists in our project. So I can see that part here. And that's what I did by going to that part here. And then we're talking about, we saw when we choose the manual configuration, we saw that there's a point regarding WSGI, right? So we saw that. And the point of the WSGI is what we can find here. So we need to click on this WSGI.py and do some manual configuration. So I'm going to click on that right here. But I think before we do that, so let's maybe do some other setup and see. For example, the virtual environment. So the virtual environment is the virtual environment that we are using. So use a virtual environment to get different versions of Flask, Django, etc. So I already explained that. Virtual environment helps you to isolate your, environment, your deployment, your development environment. So which means that whatever that you have inside your requirements for that project would be isolated for the projects that needs those requirements, right? So we saw an example of the requirement.txt file that we just installed. All the requirements located inside that file has been installed for this project only because we have a virtual environment containing those requirements. So that's the reason for the virtual environment. And now we need to point this project because the project does not know where virtual environment is until you point the project to the virtual environment. So enter path to virtual environment if desired. And the path to the virtual environment is, let's check it. It's coming from, let's check it. So I think it's coming from here. And maybe the question might be, how do I know? But yeah, I'll try to explain it. So let me see if I can find it here. Virtual environment. Okay, I'm able to find it. So here you can see it's coming from the dot virtual environment and the name of my environment, which is env, right? So that's the name of my environment. So adding that to this now, you can see my virtual environment part. And I think with that we should have a virtual environment part. So let's copy that. And again, question is, okay, how do I know that the virtual environment is coming from here? Kind of know from the fact that when we open our bash, let me see if I can open. Okay, so here we can see this is totally done now. So the virtual environment was created. I don't know if you remember. So we created a virtual environment at the root level. So we created that at the point where we have not actually seeded to our project or to our car. Okay, so that is how I know that the virtual environment is connected to your name directly. And what I mean by that is from O and Ray, and you have the virtual environment and env. So this is by default. So this is something that PythonAnyWhere always have. And this is the env that you created. So which means that for you to see your virtual environment, you need to go through here based on experience. But yeah, so it's coming from here. I'll copy that. And here we can see that part. and env. So let's go back to the web page, and we need to add that here. If again the path is not correct, it will reject it. If it is correct, it will accept it. So here is fine because we saw that. We saw that from here. So everything is fine here. And we have the bin and everything. So the activate.py that we usually use is here. And here we can see the Python version that this virtual environment is using. So everything is fine with the parts. Okay, so now that we have that also, I think if we go back to here, so here we can also see some of these access log, error log, server log that has been generated for us. So here we can check all the issues probably during deployment. So here we can see the first place to look if something goes wrong. Okay, good. So now, talking about the static files, we're talking about the static file now. So in our project, we use the static file. And if we go back to, again, if we go back to here, so where we can access the files. So in the project, here we go. So here again, this is the virtual environment also, so which kind of make it easy for you to see virtual environment, the path. You click on that, then I'll give you the path also right here. So it's not hidden also, which is good one. And here we can see the car project, which is project. So we're talking about static files. If I go to here, right here, I can see the static file, for example. And now, so now we need the sorry, we also need that information in order for PythonAnyWhere to be able to see your static files and render them. So how do you know that PythonAnyWhere actually needs it? It's mentioned here that your static files. It says you know that you did something regarding static files in your project, so you need to tell PythonAnyWhere where those static files are. So here we can see files that aren't dynamically generated by your code as CSS, JavaScript, or uploaded files can be served much faster straight off the disk if you specify them here. You need to reload your web app to activate any changes you make to the mappings below. So first, I need my static file. And you can see an example has been given to you here, how you can refer to the static file. And I will use that format, so static. So that's my static. And I will hit here. I think before I even go with the static, I would also like to, let me go back here. So static, we have the admin, static admin, and then and let's take that from the, let's take this first, static admin first. I'll go back here, static admin. So we have the administration page of our app. So we also want to make sure that we are able to load that correctly. So let's go back here and let's try to enter the path for that. So the path for that will be coming from, let's go back to the files, and I'll go back to my virtual environment, and I'll go back to my env and the lib, and that will be Python 3.1, and that will be my site packages, So I think that is loading up. And we need the Django, basically. Let's try to search that. Django, we need this one. Then contrib, and I need the admin, and I need the static admin. So this is the one I want to use for my administration, because Django by default gives us this admin page. So it's better to use what is coming from Django. So I'll take that from here. And again, this is basically something that you can reuse when you are deploying to PythonAnyWhere. So I'll take that and I'll put it into here for my static admin. And if everything is fine, that should accept that. And also I'll do the same for the static file that I have in the project. So I just named that static. And let's find a path to that one, to the static file from the files. So from the file we have car, yeah, we have static. So so that's what we need for the static file. So it's coming from home again, your name, car project, car, and static file. So it's not for the admin, it's for the project itself. So that's the one we added. Put it in. Okay, so one more thing is the media file that you also need to add here as part of the statics. So what do I mean? So if I go back here, so here we can see the media file here. So we also need to include the path to the media file for PythonAnyWhere. And again, you can reuse this approach. So let's pull the media file here. And the question is, where is it coming from? So we need to locate it from the project. So you can see CarHub project, CarHub, and media. So that's from here. Good. So now, sorry, it's asking whether we want to force this to be HTTPS. Let's read security purpose. An HTTPS certificate is needed so that people can access your site securely. We automatically provide a certificate for this one. So HTTPS certificate automatically provided for this host. You need to reload your web app to activate any changes made below. Forcing HTTPS means that anyone who goes to your site using the insecure HTTP URL will immediately redirect to the secure HTTP ones. So as a matter of fact, you want to make sure that people use a secure link to access your website. So we can switch that to enable, right? And password protection is ideal for sites that are under development and you don't want anyone to see them yet. And for now, we can just leave that. Okay, I think we are done with the setup. And we can go now to the WSGS file and see what we have inside that file. So right inside, as you can see, we have a lot of information that we can of course read through. I think we just need a few things. And this is the hello world that you saw served up on the website when we clicked on it the last time. I don't remember where we were. Yeah, right here. So here you can see that hello world, and that is coming from the WSGF file right here. So hello world and so on and so forth. The HTML file for that is coming from actually here. And you can see the Python code backing that up using the generator to return the content here. So now what we can do is to try to understand what is going on here. So again, the WSGFI is very important. So for you to correctly set up your project, you need to adjust it manually, because otherwise what people will see is what they are seeing here, right here. So it's hello world. So now let's take a look. So here we have the path for the hello world, which has been generated. And here we can also see the path for Django, so which is the one we need. Right? So that's the path for Django, that's the one we need. So the one that has been generated now, I'm just going to comment it out. So Control / on my keyboard, commented that out. And if I refresh, probably I haven't saved it. So let's save that. And here you also have the reload button. So you'll need to also use that reload button sometimes when you save something. And here we can see something went wrong now. Something went wrong while trying to load the website. Please try again, and so on and so forth. Something went wrong, but let's try to put it back. So when we put that back, something still went wrong, as you can see. So yeah, anyways, whatever it is, we'll find out. So let's maybe move on. So I'll comment this out. And now, let's go back to our web. Do we have everything saved? Yeah, we still have it the way we set them up, which is fine. So something that went wrong now is fine, because now the project is already pointing to our source code here. So it's not actually using the hello world anymore. So that is why you can see something went wrong. So we need to tell this one that, hey, we are talking about Django now. So let's uncomment this one. And we need to comment this one out because it's basically a comment. So first we import the OS, then we import the SYS, then the path to the project itself, as you can see. So this is going to Andre, and from Andre, the path to the project is Kahal project. Yeah, so Kahal. Kahal project, and I think it goes from there to Kahal. So we need to confirm that to make sure that this is correct. Otherwise, we will not hit the right part. So let me go back to here and just confirm that quickly. So I think that is it here. Andre, Kahal project, Kahal, the same one, this one. So let's copy that and come back here. Andre, Kahal projects, Kahal. So I'll just change this to Kahal. I'll change. Just to be sure that I do not have any typo there. And here we go. If path not in 6.path, 6.path dot append path.
Гуру, наконец-то с переменной цикле догадаюсь. Наконец-то
Okay, so and And we have the OS environment using this. So I would like to rewrite this a little bit. So basically, this needs to point to the site settings. So this is what this needs to point to. And where's the site settings? Let's save this one. So where's the site settings? So the site settings is located inside our project in the files. So right here, this one. So we need to point to this guy. So we need to point to this guy correctly. And we need to do that from here. So let's go back here. Let's go back here and do that here. So I'll do os dot child directory. So let's put in the path. And os dot environment dot settings. Set default and set default. So we are talking about the Django settings module. And then we're talking about the settings, so which is and the setting is going to be the car hub settings, right? So that's the name of the settings. So let's put that name. And maybe the question is, how do I know? So the way I know is basically if I go back here, if I go back to here, so here we can see the project name is car hub. So we need that project name dot settings, and that is what we have there. So let's do that. Car hub dot settings. So that will allow me to be able to point to the settings. And with this one, I will also do the importing of, so let's import Django just to have an access to the Django setup. So I'll do Django dot setup. And this one, I'll just take it off. Then here we have the Django core WSG, import this one, which is fine. And we leave this one as it is. Okay, so now let's try to cross-check everything one more time. So here it's saying, assuming your Django settings file is at here. Add your manage.py, and your manage.py is at here. And we have an access to that here, right? So both of them are located here. They are located inside the car hub. You can confirm that here. So this is the settings, and this is the manage.py. Okay, so let's see. So we have everything commented out. So I'm gonna save that again. And probably let's remove all these ones. Okay, so reload it. Okay. Okay, yeah, I see one error here because we also need to comment this up. So let's comment that out. It's a comments, and let's see.
Там разные приложения, которые запускаются из гостового сайта. Django это классный модерный язык, а Django сопортит все языки Остроаски.
Let me just double quote also for this.
Да, и там текст может прилагаться. Даже нам можно будет жирным шрифтом написать.
All right, so now I think one more thing. Let me think. I think one more thing would be to link our URL into the settings. So if we come back here, we have this URL, which is this one. We need to link that to the settings in the car hub, right? So, which is the allow host that is mentioned here. Right, so we need to allow the host right here. And that will be under URL. And save it. And also, I see a comment here. So don't run with debug turn on in production. The reason for that is for people not to see what is wrong quickly. What do I mean by that? So if you switch this on in production, then if your code is breaking, then people will be able to see exactly what is breaking in that code. So that is why it is suggested to basically maybe switch it off. But for now, we can still turn it on and see what is going on. So let's come back here and try. Okay, so here we have, you may need to add this to allow host, which we already did. But we will confirm what is going on. And exception, disallow host, invalid host, error. You may need to add this to allow host. So I think that's the only thing that is mentioned in there. And we have added that to allow host. So let's go back and confirm this name. Let's take that back to you. Okay, so if I something is wrong, try to load this up. Let's try again later. If this is your website and you reload it, then the problem might simply be that it hasn't loaded up yet. Try refreshing the page and see if this message disappears. If you keep getting this message, you should check your site server and error logs for any message. Error code is 542. 542 is kind of backend conflict, isn't it? So error code, let's check. I think we have subjection here. Anyways, let's check ourselves for now to see what is wrong. I'll go back to my log. Yeah, things like this will happen sometimes, so you need to find out what is going on. So the server log, we can find out here. You have a lot of information here. Upload thread of this. look at you. Very nice. I think I can use this. The processes number limit is this. Let's go back to invalid HTTP said that this. You may need to add this to allow host. Running WSGI has no attribute application. Do this. If you're seeing an import error and don't know why, you have dedicated a page. Error running this has no attribute. Okay, so now I think the previous error that we have was about this one. Let's take a look at the latest time now. So this one. So that's the current one. So I'll just try to run it again. Okay, so again, we are going back to here. So refresh. It's talking about this. So let's copy that again. In the settings. Here's the settings of the project. Okay, we have so many things open. Let's use this one. And come back here and the settings is here. Let's put that back in without. Oh no, that's not what I need. This one. I'll copy it from there. So yeah, this one. Save it and reload it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So here we can see our website is live. So the issue was about the part. So I think previously we used uppercase A here, and that was not reckoned with. So we wanted it to be lowercase. So now we can see how to deploy our web app to the site. And here we can see the images are being served up as we want them to be. So I think you can continue from here. And if you add more to the website and try to make it the way you want, you can always host it here or somewhere else. We understand the process.
It's hard process. Without
Yeah, no.
without your what you just show us, I don't think we manage.
Yeah, nothing is simple, but this is a very simple one anyways. Having issues is something that is always common in development process. So when you are doing something and you are not expecting to have issues, then you will not learn. So having issues is what you should always expect, and you don't have to fear issues. I'm not afraid of it. I know it can happen, and when it happens, I try to figure out how to fix it. And when it happens, you see one of the things that I did was I even go to the website and I see people already also had that issue before. So there are issues reported here. If I probably go through, I might see what people are talking about, but I don't want to waste my time for now. I think I can figure it out on my own by looking into the log. And that is why I went back to look at the log. And the issue that was reported from the log is about the allow host. Even when I added something there, but it seems like it's still not happy with what I added. So which means that okay, something is wrong with what I did. So and I copy the one that is suggested, right? So I copy that from here. So you may need to add this one. So this is the one it's suggesting, and I copied that. I think the one I had it before was copied from here. I copied the one from here and I added it, and there's the difference between that two. So let me show you the difference between the two of them. So I just create a new file here. So if I add that one, so you can see the difference. This one is having HTTPS, / and so on and so forth, and also having a slash here. So when I did this one, still it wasn't happy. I remember that, yeah. So let's put that back here. It wasn't happy with that. And my expectation should be happy with that, but it wasn't happy with that. So which means that it doesn't want this HTTPS to be here. It only needs the, the URL without the HTTPS. So if I save that again, the issue might come back. Okay, so for now, let's reload it. So save and reload. Sometimes it could be running from the cached previous one. So try to reload it. So here we go. So the issue is back now again. So again, even though when we added something to the allow host, it's suggesting that you may need to add this. This is what it's saying. So and we saw that from there, and also you can see from the log. So that is what the log is also meant for. So the log are here. So error log, what is happening within your code? Why do you have that issue? And if I click on that, then I will also see what is going on. Again, here we can see them. So this was generated at this time now. This is the latest one. And it's telling me again, you may need to add this into the allow host. So which is the issue I'm having. And also I mentioned about the true here. If I switch this to false, so let's switch that to false, capital F. And I don't want to run anything, actually, I want to load it. So if I switch that to false and I try to load it again, and let's go back to the website once we are done. Here we go. So here people will not be able to see what is the issue on your website. So that's the purpose of switching that to false, right? If you put it to true, then everybody will be able to understand what is wrong with your website. Okay, you are the one missing something, or your code is not written in the right part, because it will point out those issues also on the website. But instead of pointing them out now, you can see that it's just saying, hey, this is 400, something is wrong. And you, as the developer that has an access to the application, you have an access to the internal log of your application, and it's something that you can find here, right? So we saw that. Something that you can find here. You can come to the log and look at, okay, what is wrong with my app? Error log here. And again, the issue is still about this guy. It needs to be there. Okay, let's copy that. And now it's not saying that also on the web page. You can only see it on the log now, because you don't want other people over the internet to see that issue. So you go back to your settings, and the setting is sorry again, I have so many things open. So let's go back to the settings. I think I'll just go back. from here, and settings is located in the files. Tab, settings, and that will be the correction of this one. Remove this, remove this, and then it will be happy. So after all the settings that we did from the web tab, we also need to make sure that you point this directly. So that's just it. It's not difficult actually. So I would say first thing is to understand this is the documentation. We follow this documentation. So what is it that we did not do here? The only thing that we did not do here is clone. We didn't clone this one at GitHub. We only downloaded it and had it. Right? We downloaded and had it, and then we unzip it. So unzip is not also covered here. So, but as developer, you cannot explore yourself. There are some things that you know that these are normal things that you should be able to do. So it is not mentioned in documentation that you can do it that way, but I know that it should be possible to do that way. So if we have a zip file, we should be able to unzip that file using a console, using a bash. And I use that same command and it works. And I created my virtual environment, and the process that we have been following, we install the requirements, and we know that this kind of took time on the free environment, and we were running out of space until we made payments. So it's just for them to be able to get something from you, and now your website is up, at least. So, and then we go here. So follow this step. Go to the web tab, and the web tab is something you can find here. So the process is all there. The web tab is here. Go to the web tab, add a new web app, but already we added one, so you don't add a new one. But if you have not added one, you need to click on the add a new web app, which we did. We click on that, and from there we follow the documentation. We click on the manual configuration. That's it. Then we set up the paths to the virtual environment. Here we can see that. And the source code, we look for the source code, and here we can see the settings for the Django. And of course, it's not well written in the documentation. But yeah, we wrote it correctly. And here we go. It's kind of, everything is kind of here, actually. So the only thing that I think, if you miss, that will be suggested to you is also the one that says that, which is coming from here, the ones of the settings, right? So if you miss that, so we saw that it was suggested to us that we need to do that correctly. We need to add it to the settings. And right here, so we have it. And that makes sense because this is the host that you want to allow. So it's your URL. PythonAnyWhere gave you. And if you have your custom domain tomorrow, maybe your custom domain is, for example, kahal.com. Sorry, if your custom domain is something like this tomorrow, then you want to make sure that you also add it here. And in order to do that, it's also very simple. At that time, you will understand how to do it. But at that time, you need to buy this first. So when you buy this from GitHub, not GitHub, from Google, GoDaddy, for example, then I think there is also a documentation. So let me see. If you come here, add your custom domain to PythonAnyWhere. Set up your custom domain. Right here we go. So here there's a documentation that will just show you how to do that. The first time you read the documentation, it might look like, okay, how do I go about it? Well, Just follow it step by step and you will do it. So it's pretty simple how to do it also. Even you might do it without following the documentation. Because first thing is just you have your domain. If you register your domain, then from the registration of the domain, also they will tell you some of the things that you have to do and how to use it on the website when you want to use it. But yeah, for now, you can see we are able to serve the website. And there's something up. Probably still bother. So yeah, I think one more thing I will show you. I'll show you quickly. So let's run that again. So one more thing I would like to show you is what I also mentioned when we started the deployment. So if we go back to, so now we are done with this console, so we can kill it, we can close it. And if we go back to, we should use this stuff. If we go back to the files, right here. So in the files, we have the Kahal project and we have the project here. So we have the templates, I believe. And here we can see we have the information regarding our car. And if you remember, I said it is possible for you to edit something, either the HTML or the Python file. You can always make changes here directly, and that will reflect directly on the website. So let's say, for example, the content HTML. So in the content HTML, so Group25 at tel.com, for example. And let's take a look at what we have there before. So we have this, right? So if you just change something from there, you need to reload it, otherwise the changes might not happen. Okay, now it's done. So I'll just come here. There we go. So there you can see that change happen immediately. Now the change is there, but in your repo, that is not what you have in the repository. So if you need something to go live quickly, you want to change something quickly, you might just do it quickly here, but don't forget to make that change also in the repository. Maybe tomorrow, if you want to reuse what you have in the repository, then you will have the latest also. So the PythonAnyWhere is a very good environment, actually, and kind of easy to use. Being the first time, since you guys recorded the video, you can watch it like 2 times or 3 times. It will be more easy for you to understand. Yeah, that's it. Any question? Okay, so just watch the video and try to do it yourself, maybe. I think everybody should be able to do it. It's not a hard process. Just follow the process correctly and that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I think as a matter of fact, we have reached the final day of this project. And maybe if you guys do not have further questions, I want to take a moment to appreciate your dedication, your hard work, and also the determination in learning Python and Django. Right, it's not easy, and the journey may have had its challenges. Of course, we all have challenges in life, but each step you have taken has brought you closer to becoming a skilled developer, if that is what you want to become, or you want to move on to testing or any other thing. But I think one thing that we have to remember is that learning to code is not just about writing programs. So that's coming back to the point of when you feel like something is difficult, it's normal. It's about developing a problem solving mindset so that okay, even if it fails, I will still make sure I do it. So that's the only way you can keep moving as a developer or as an IT person. So yeah. So having the mindset of if something fails, I still want to try. I want to try because that's the only way you learn. And also persistency and a passion for continuous learning is also one of it. So, which I believe that every great developer started as a beginner, right? And the key to mastery is consistency. So, if you want to master anything, you have to try yourself many times to do it. So, yeah, so we shouldn't stop, I would say. So, let's keep building, keep exploring, and never be afraid to make mistakes, even when you are developing something, because that's the only way you will learn. You can see many times as I'm even trying to show you things, many times things did not work immediately. And that is expected. I cannot do more than what I can do. I will try my best to make sure it works. And if it doesn't work, we need to find out okay why it's not working. Because at the end of the day, we are all learning from mistakes. And that is what we should all have in mind. And the world of technology is something that is full of opportunities. And I believe each of you has the potential to make an impact. And by trying your best, you will always make an impact. So I'm wishing you all the best in the coding journey. And also, let's keep pushing forward and never give up. So that's the main thing. So don't let us give up, and everything will be fine. So for the project, I believe you all have it in the repo. So if you want to download it and have it in your own personal repository, it is possible. Again, you can keep developing the project on your own, add more functionalities, make it personal, and whichever way you feel. Maybe you can even develop a company out of it. So it's your own responsibility. So yeah, good luck and happy coding.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, welcome. You're welcome, guys. So I think from my side, uh, probably that's it. But if you guys still have some questions, then maybe we can answer them.
No.
Okay, good. So I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, this thing is kind of echoing back. Andre.
Andre,
Yeah.
it's your echo probably.
Yeah. I can see something is coming back as I talk. So if you can maybe mute. Yeah. Thank you. I think now it should be fine. So yeah, all good. So I don't know. I will also be working on a course, so which is about software testing, and I'm planning to release that course on Udemy. So if you guys also have an interest, I might share the link with you. And if you want to explore more about software testing, you can also take a look. Otherwise, we have each other contact. If you need any help regarding your development task, you can always contact me. If I'm having a free time, I will always quickly reply. And yeah, so let's keep in touch.
Yeah, from our side or from my side also, many thanks to you. Except
Thank you.
that the SDA problem, but you shouldn't be probably here today, but you are. It's very good, and it's everything's very helpful. But yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Wish you guys good luck. Thank you. See you.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What is the percentage end of the course? Can you?
For you, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
from my personal.
let me check. 1 second.